Futures and options on futures trading involve substantial risk and is not a suitable investment for all types of investors. Past results are not necessarily indicative of future results. When I use the word I in this video, it refers to what I teach in my charting course or what I author in my twice daily oral and written updates. Prices shown on charts and quote boards are in real time and take into account all known activity up to this point in time. And if you'd like to read more of this disclaimer, simply hit the pause key on your video player. Good morning. Ira Epstein of Linn Associates with your Monday morning flash update for this March 5th, 2018, just after 8:50 a.m. Central Standard Time. All right, we had a weekend full of news. Obviously, nothing has really changed on the threat of tariffs from President Trump concerning the steel and aluminum. There was the old tit for tat. Europe saying they're going to put more tariffs on the U.S. if he goes with it. Him saying he's going to put tariffs on their automobiles and the like. He did hold out, the president that is, held out to Mexico and Canada the idea that do a new NAFTA deal and these won't have to go into impact against you. So who the heck knows where that goes. Today we get a conference later this afternoon from the three negotiators, each one representing Canada, Mexico, or the U.S. as to how they're doing. My guess, the word is terrible. I doubt that they're doing anything, and that is one thing the president's fed up with. China. I was laughing because they have put a brand new person in control of dealing with the U.S. I think his name is Liu He, and he goes, send me your list. Well, I think we've been doing that ever since President Trump got into office, if I'm correct. Our problem is we don't have a real negotiator on our side, as we've just lost our key man. In the metal markets, they're not getting much of a response. I would think this is a bit bearish in the copper market. Dr. Copper, as it's called. You start hurting world trade, that comes down. There has not been a run into the gold market at this point. I'm actually going to update a gold report because I think that you've got a downside price count right now in the market, and I'll describe that in my report. The pound getting a little bit of a reprieve of a bit, but not the yen. We have a bunch of central banks coming out this week, by the way. I think it's the Royal Bank of Australia, Bank of Japan. We've got, I don't know if it's the European Central Bank, but it might be them as well. Then we have later in the week our jobs report. So it's going to be a week full of information. In the grain markets, they got a little bit of rain in Argentina with a little bit more due. The question is, how much did that put the crop from continuing to stress out? In the wheat market, we're not getting enough rain still in our southern plains, so you're getting a bid in that market. The bonds and notes probably getting something of a bid right now off the idea of these tariffs, and nobody's quite certain what to do. It is certainly, at least at this moment, we've got what's called the risk-off mentality. What does that mean? It means the stock market's under pressure. Things that you'd buy in this type of mentality market are getting bought, such as the dollar and the bond market, and those are the things you got to worry about. Bitcoin, notice the volume, if you will, real transactions. They keep falling. I'm talking CoinDesk and all the other parts of it. And there's a lot going on here. SigWit is taking place, and that's good news for those people that watch that because transaction costs are dropping, as is the speed of a transaction. The problem is, and this is the center core of this, what is the purpose of Bitcoin other than speculation? That is still at the core of why people aren't flocking into it. And you'll notice you're not making new highs or lows, so it's sort of out of the news for the moment. In terms of the day's news, market groups final composite PMI for February, that was coming in at 57.1, down from the 58 reading in January and below expectations, by the way. The Eurozone economic data came in at 56.2 versus a 56.7 on their services PMI. Their composite PMI came in at 57.1 versus 57.5, so they're down a little bit. The European Union Statistic Agency reported retail sales were 1% lower in January than December. Now, out of the past, I think it's 6 months, they're down 4 of the 6 months. That's not good. Has the consumer pulled back? That's a question. In the Italian election over the weekend, it looks like a hung parliament where nobody really got power. That's going to be interesting. Miss Merkel, by the way, of the Chancellor Merkel, she put together a coalition government finally. Look for her to be sworn in a week or two. And what that will do is give her a 4th term, and that's stability for the Eurozone. Later this afternoon, as I said, representatives from the U.S. and Mexico are going to meet. President Trump pressured NAFTA again by saying he's going to link any deal
with NAFTA is going to be with the tariffs, so he's not going to give that break to Canada or Mexico. They can get it through a NAFTA deal. China announced that its economic goal for this year is growth of 6.5%. That's right in line with what the trade thought. Here's an interesting report. The IEA, in a report this morning, is predicting the U.S. by 2023 will produce more oil than Russia. Now, maybe. The reason I say that, Russia's got an awful lot on the table. The point is that we will be energy independent. Australia's Abari today pegged Australian crops, first for wheat, 23.7 million tons. Well, if that came in, it's 11.8% bigger than 2017-18. Canola coming in would be 8% bigger if it comes in the way they said. Beef production would be nearly 5% bigger. So they are certainly going all out to do good things there. Let's talk about my gold report. I'm going to try to do one this week. And in the report, I am going to try to cover some ideas on seasonality and probably longer-term charts. I'll give you the price counts on it. Basically, nice pictures, not a lot of talk about what I think is going on in the marketplace. To get it, it's pretty simple. You got to be on our mailing list, and we do cull that list. So you might want to go and sign up for some of our information at www.iraepstein.com. You can always call us, 866-973-2077. You can click up here if you're watching me on YouTube, or underneath us on many websites it says, click here for Ira's free information. See you this afternoon. You have a good trading day.